So I'm a bit of a Nintendo loyalist. I'll be very honest. I grew up on games like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Donkey Kong 64, and the list goes on. They were a crucial part of who I am as a person. And so I have been following Nintendo ever since. And fast forward to the original Switch, when it first came out, I was very excited at the prospect of what it was sort of promising. But to be very honest, in retrospect, I was not super impressed with the specs that the first Switch put out. It felt like it was a first iteration of something that was inevitably going to have a second coming. And so, what I was shocked by is the fact that this announcement took so long to make. It's been, I think, 7 or 8 years since the first Switch. And so, when Nintendo announced the Switch 2 and it was going to have this event, everyone was super excited. And there was a lot of good to come out of it and a lot of bad to come out of it. And so it's causing quite the schism in the gaming community. And I kind of wanted to just discuss both sides of it and kind of tell you guys where I'm at with the console. So I'm going to discuss 3 things that I think were really good, 3 things that I think were bad. And starting with the good, next gen power. So the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have a 7.9-inch screen, 4K at 120 FPS when it's docked, which is very impressive. And then when it's in handheld, it's going to be 1080p, again at 120 FPS. So of course, it's not going to have that extra power. So it needs to be able to push those frames. So it's going to scale down the resolution just a little bit. 256 gigabytes of storage, which is really cool. And then there's a mouse mode. So you're going to have this ability to feel like you're using a mouse on the Switch, which I think is really cool because obviously I prefer using a mouse over a joystick. It's much more accurate. And so spec-wise, I think it looks really good. And then we have, of course, some titles, always with Nintendo. There's always a title attached to a release here. And so we have games like Mario Kart World, which is going to be kind of an open world Mario Kart game, which a lot of people are very excited for, including myself. Games like Metroid Prime 4 and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Again, all games that look very beautiful, very cool, innovative, and I am greatly looking forward to eventually playing them. And there are also some social connections. So some things that, again, I wish were in the original Switch, but we're getting now. So we have online game sharing, game chat, backwards compatibility. And, again, Nintendo was just like cooking at the beginning of this. They were doing great. And so everyone was very excited. But then we get to the negatives. So the first big obvious negative is the price thing. So the console itself is going to be $450. Which is very expensive. But then you think about the games, right? Because if you pay a lot for a console, if you pay a lot for like a PC or something, it can be worth it depending on what you get out of it. But then when the games are now apparently going to cost $80 to $90, depending on a digital or a physical version, that's where the conversation has really exploded online. And rightfully so, if I'm being honest. In this economy where people are struggling to afford basic things like rent and food, Nintendo has chosen to greatly up their prices in games. And when games started to go digital, I was very excited because I felt like it was going to drive down prices because, of course, you're not having to manufacture a physical disc. And so the physical price going up to $90, that is a lot of money, do not get me wrong. And again, I would prefer a physical copy because I like owning something. I don't like just renting something via download. It doesn't have the same nostalgic feel to me. But my point is, I wish the physical games, if they went up in price to $80-ish or $90, preferably 70 or 80, again, that's the stretch, you'd hope that the digital download would be $40, $50, something as a reasonable compensation there. And I just feel like Nintendo missed the mark on doing something like that and really setting a standard, really setting a precedence going forward. I feel like that would have been really cool for a lot of people. But $80 to $90 for a game is bananas. It's absolutely crazy. And there's also things like a $50 Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. So you're looking at between like $500 plus whenever you start, having add-ons. And there are also upgrade fees and limits. So they want between, I think, $10 and $20 for enhanced old games, so enhancing your games up to the new console. And so, it's feeling like a cash grab in many areas, which I don't think is very cool. And then add-ons like a paywall game chat in 2026, $50 camera, $30 welcome tour demo. So a demo that they're going to have, you have to pay for it for some reason. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And so when you look at it overall, I think that the console is beautiful. The games look beautiful. It's very promising. And will I personally purchase one? Probably not for a while, if I'm being really honest. Again, just because of today's economy, I'm being super honest with you guys. Like, I have a PC that I paid a lot of money for that I'm currently trying to upgrade, and I would rather invest in that so I can do things like content and game at the same time. Again, 400. So if you go 450, let's just throw some add-ons, let's say $500, and then you throw in a few games. You're easily looking at $600 for a Switch and some games, which is in this economy crazy. And then of course, every time you want a new game, you're paying $80 to $90, which is a lot of money for so many people. And so I don't know. Nintendo's always been a very weird company with, how they handle creators, and I don't know. They just have always seemed like kind of a very stingy company, very selfish company. They will be quick to copyright strike you, so I don't even know if I can show things in this video. But tell me what you guys think in the comments. I'm very curious. Are you guys more so excited? Are the price points justifiable? Or are you going to be skipping based on mostly the price points? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.